back to Afternoon Express, and it is all about the good times and the festive as we do usher in New Year's Eve. Now, Chef Maynard, this one is one for the books.
Yes, I love doing this dish because it's easy, it's affordable, you can feed the crowds with it, and it's perfect for New Year's Eve.
Well, let's get into it.
Exactly.
If you want to impress your guests this New Year's Eve, well, this recipe is one to take note of. Chef Maynard's pickled ox tongue with onions and mustard sauce dish is everything you need to impress your guests this party season. Let's get stuck in.
Okay, wonderful. So we are going to start with a sauce, which is a whipped sauce that we're going to be doing over hot water, and it's a whole grain mustard sauce, which just reminds me so much of Christmas and New Year when growing up. Okay, so we're going to start very easily. 2 whole eggs going into a bowl, and then we're going to add whole grain mustard. I love whole grain mustard. If you don't have whole grain mustard, that's fine. You can even use powdered mustard, Dijon dry mustard, 2 tablespoons of sugar, and then we're going to do 2 tablespoons of water and 2 tablespoons of brown vinegar. You can even add red wine vinegar. Do not add balsamic because that's going to give it a dark color. You want a sort of a clear liquid. A little bit of salt, and then pepper to flavor it. Okay, wonderful. And then very easy, you're going to put it onto a double boiler. Now, what you want to do is you want to have some bubbles going at the bottom of the pot, nice hot water, and then we're going to whisk. We're going to whisk all these ingredients over hot water. What you do not want is you do not want your glass bowl to be touching the water, because then it's going to have too much heat and your sauce is going to curdle.
So, Chef Maynard, when I do think of any type of sauce that has eggs, I think of a hollandaise sauce. Is this mustard sauce close, or am I very, very far?
You're not far.
Okay.
Not far, yeah. The only thing with this sauce, it has got no, there's no oil or butter being added to it, which hollandaise sauce obviously has.
Yes,
okay.
Definitely. And I mean, a lot of people like to compare it to hollandaise in that, but the one thing I can mention is that there are 3 various sauces that are very similar. For instance, mayonnaise, hollandaise sauce, and this sauce are very similar in that they use eggs, and they also use an acidic culture to it. In here, we're not adding the oil or the butter to it to thicken it. Instead, the heat and the coagulation of the egg is what thickens the sauce.
Thickens the sauce here for it. Something else that I'm very excited about is we are using one of my favorite offcuts. We're actually using ox tongue. Now, you know, take me back to Durban, sweetie pie. Take me back to my dad. He's always sending us in summer seasons right next door to the Chisanyama just to get some ox tongue. We slice it up. We can have it in a sandwich, or sometimes we just snack it on its own. And today we're adding it with some lovely toasted bread.
Chef, I actually wanted to find out from you why the choice to use tongue of all the pieces of meat that you could have chosen.
Because I love tongue, and I think it's so underrated. And yes, and this just reminds me, yes, of my years growing up in the Free State, and we just love eating tongue at Christmas. Now, what we're going to do with our sauce is we're also going to add some pickled onions, which we cooked up earlier, which is going to add another sort of a taste layer, and it's also going to stretch our sauce, so you can do a lot with it. And you're just going to incorporate our mustardy, beautiful whipped hot sauce, and then add the cooked onions. These are very easy to do. You just cook them for 20 minutes from scratch in cold water, chill them down, and then chop them up, slice them, and add them to your mustard sauce.
But now, we also call them pickled onions. So if you do want to then make this probably ahead, or maybe you enjoyed some onions at the Christmas table, how do we then make sure that the pickling process, we get that right?
It's very easy. It's very easy. You just cook the onions, and then you douse them or you submerge them in a brine made with salt, pepper, a little bit of spice, and then vinegar.
Oh, okay.
And that draws up. Okay, so here we've got our beautiful toasted bruschetta, or you can use any type of bread, but I love using sourdough bread or any baguette or anything like that, and just layer on your sliced tongue. I like it sliced quite thickly, so you can really dig into it.
I hope everyone at home is paying attention. Do not slice up your tongue thin.
No,
that's not what we're
stingy.
Here for.
Yeah. Okay, and then we're just going to spoon over this lovely pickled mustardy onion sauce over it, and there you go.
Delectable, edible, very, very delicious. Do me on your side. When it comes to this recipe, what comes to mind?
Look, I'm just thinking flavor and deliciousness, because a lot of people might think that the sourness of the pickles will overpower. It definitely won't, because you've added those eggs into this mixture, and there's sugar inside of the actual mustard sauce. So it balances so perfectly. The saltiness of the tongue, the crostini. Oh, I'm seeing you dancing, my friend. That is exactly what it's about. A balance of flavors that just make you happy. New Year's Eve, yeah, I'm also, exactly. I agree with you.
What a way to take a humble cut of meat, elevate the flavors. The mustard sauce is it for me. Those pickled onions also just add a different cut, you know, a different acidity to it, which is very exciting. Plate it up and let's see how beautiful you make it. Yeah. You know those home restaurants I've been hearing all about, so let's see a little bit of that magic.
Exactly. So, yeah, we've just spooned it on top, and then we've garnished it with some lemon thyme, which is a beautiful, fragrant herb. And there you go. And you can do big platters of this, carry it out, serve it to your guests. People can help themselves. This is wonderful for the kids to eat. So, yeah, everybody's happy.
Everyone is happy. And if you want to be happy, I'm saying talk about tongue-talizing. Head over to afternoonexpress.co.za for the full recipe and ingredients list to this mouth-watering dish. But when we do come back, we're infusing roast potatoes with tangy, citrusy flavors of sumac, and then we're going to be enjoying the beautiful sounds of the queen of African fusion, singer and songwriter Unoza.